Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm building in my wizarding save file again, and I decided to build another build inspired by the Fantastic Beasts movies, and I will do quite a weird concept, I think, for it because I will build a bunch of shell buildings around the actual thing that I wanted to build for the save file. So at the moment I'm building like several buildings around a square, and in the square I will put down the circus that we can see in the Fantastic Beasts movies. The first one, the Fantastic Beasts and where to find them, and in there is like a circus that can be seen. And I, at the moment, I'm building the tent that the circus is in, and there's also like some kind of food stand, I think, or something else in front of it. Now I'm roofing the tent, which is a little bit weird because honestly, tents don't have like actual roof. They just have like canvases that are like doubling as the roofs, but well, I can't replicate it any better in The Sims with the base game, so I'm just roofing it. And I struggled a little bit in the back, but I decided to use like a flat part of the roof so it looks a little bit more realistic. And then I put down an archway as like the entrance to the tent, and I also put down a little bit of a different roof color for the main part, and I colored it entirely in red because that is what we see in the movie. And then I lit the pavement because, of course, we don't actually see any grass in the middle of the city where the circus is at, so I needed to delete that part of the lot, which honestly it makes me kind of sad because I really like the grass, and I think in many cities there's way too little grass areas. So yeah, it's a little bit sad, but I needed to make it as realistic and as close as what we see in the movie as possible. And then I colored in the inside of the tent, and then I did the bit where there's a bunch of advertisement, I think, on it, and it's a little bit too large because I imagine that it's just like a post that is like rounded with a bunch of posters on them. I think they were way more common like a few years ago or a decade or two ago, but at the moment you don't really see them anymore. But they aren't quite as large as I did it there, but I needed to have an octagonal, and that is the smallest octagonal that we can do in The Sims, so it just looks like that. And then we also see that there is a bunch of crates there, so I replicated that as well and put that down. And of course, in the tent, we don't actually see what's in there, but I later will do something to just have something there and put down a bunch of benches, I think. But what we do see is there's like large posters of animals in front of the tent, so that's what I put down there. And I used the kids painting because they have animals on them, and it looks fine, I think, with it. Of course, it's not quite as like kids like in the movie as it is here, but it was the closest thing that I could find. And there's also a bunch of lighting and fairy lights in the entrance area, so I replicated that with the free holiday stuff pack that we can just get without paying anything. So yeah, I have that as well. And I put down a bunch of more lighting and also some awning for the city buildings that I have there. And I put down little bit of the columns that we can put down. I think it makes the build look a little bit more like the city, and I also put down a bunch of the trim that there is, because again it makes it look more like the city or just some city buildings, and I thought it made it structurally more interesting because they are basically only shells, so there's nothing in there, at least at the moment. Later I will put a toilet there just because I wanted to make the whole lot into a nightclub. So I wanted to make it the lot type nightclub, and for that I of course needed a toilet because that's one of the requirements. And yeah, so I didn't want to put that in the tent because that didn't make sense for me, but I had like convenient shelves of houses, so I decided to just put down the toilets in there. I will put down the bar as well in one of the houses because it didn't fit into the tent as well. So yeah, I cheated a little bit to have that in the houses instead of the tent, because the tent is like the main attraction that I thought about, but it didn't make sense with how large or small actually it is, so it just didn't fit. And here you can see what I did put down. So I put down a bunch of benches because of course people, when they watch the show that is inside the tent, would actually want to be able to sit down maybe and enjoy it. And here I'm putting down the toilet inside one of the shelves. I think it's in the left hand bottom corner if you look at the lot from the front. And the bar is in this house, and I just put down the bar and the dining table because of course I still needed to fulfill the requirements. So yeah, I put that down and put down a bunch of chairs as well. And then I was finished with the requirements, and I didn't put anything else into the shelves because again I didn't really want it to be anything, the shells. And also it would have been a nightmare to furnish because it would have taken ages because they are so large, because of course they are supposed to be some city buildings, and there would have been like apartments and shops and so on. So yeah, it would have been quite a lot to furnish, and that wasn't the main thing that I wanted to do with this lot. I mainly wanted to do the circus and replicate it for my Wizarding save file. And now I'm decorating inside, and I wanted it to look a little bit more flimsy and whimsical, so I decided to put down a bunch of curtains, and also different colored curtains, but still with like the reddish theme. So I put those down so it looks more interesting inside as well. And then I was just putting down some gnomes to represent the animals that we can see running around, and then I was finished. Now you can see some screenshots of the build. I hope you like it. You can download it from the gallery. My ID is TGGSims, same as my YouTube channel name. I also hope that you liked the video and will consider pressing the thumbs up button and subscribing. Thanks very much for watching and have a great week. Bye!